All right, welcome back, everybody. Now it's time for the dreaded stacking. You can see I've got a pretty good pile going back there, so now it's just a matter of finding the right spot for them. There's a few that are different sizes. Try to get 16 inches. Sometimes, though, they're 14 or 20. Just want to make sure you keep a balanced pile. Got some help from my chicken friends. Unfortunately, not too good at stacking, but keeping an eye on everything, making sure we've got good quality wood. I know there's some debate on how to stack firewood. Typically, I try to do bark up. I think the idea is if you do bark down, it almost creates like a little liner so that the water or moisture can't seep out. Instead, it just sits kind of within the bark. So, where possible, I think it's best to stack it facing down with the bark facing up. Obviously, not always the case. I think it's going to dry no matter what when it's 100 degrees out, but excuse me, that's typically my strategy. We've had a few hawks in the area lately, so you can see this chicken just kind of keeping an eye, and there must be something up there flying around that she's quite interested in. This chicken actually had her foot broken when she was only a couple months old and couldn't walk for a few days, and excuse me, actually just nursed her back to health and gave her a few fresh eggs, and eventually she started walking. So she does have a little bit of a limp now, but she's been a good layer and a good chicken for almost 4 years. It's amazing. Sometimes I'll use a sled, just a typical cheap kid's sled, to move wood if I've split it a little bit further from the pile. But in this case, it's pretty easy to get it back and forth, so just going a few pieces at a time. This was in the same day that I split it, so I'm still feeling that and just kind of taking my time and getting it done. No rush. It's actually probably about 50 degrees, maybe a little less, so not ideal t-shirt weather, but again, I was fresh off the split, trying to keep the head warm. But again, much better than 100 degrees out. I like these goat skin gloves from Harbor Freight for moving wood. Stacking wood or just working with wood in general, in my opinion, is really hard on work gloves. There's certain areas that just tend to wear out pretty quickly on even high-end gloves. So price is right for these goatskin gloves, and they give you a pretty good amount of protection and grip, and durability for moving firewood. So highly recommend you check them out. I think they were only about $8 or $10, but still pretty good gloves. Goatskin work gloves from Harbor Freight. You can see here, this is one of the longer pieces. Didn't want it to stick out, so just kind of walking down the row and seeing where it'll fit in. And down here we've got, it looks like a perfect parking spot. Thanks again, guys, for checking out this video. Let me know any feedback you have or what else you'd like to see.